Monday and it's 7:30. So 7:30 on a Monday, 7:30 in the evening on a Wednesday, and 7:30 on a Friday. Scoutcrafter puts a film on. Fantastic to watch, and I'm his #1 fan. Anyway, well, over here anyway, across the water. So let's see what one of the topics he was talking about today, which was came into my sort of area. So let's listen to what John Scoutcrafter has to say.
Okay, next up, a couple weeks ago at the Long Island Tool Meet, I picked up this beautiful tap and die set from my buddy Mike the fireman, and it was on the $10 table, and I bought it for my mentor Dan Semmel, who collects these type of tap and die sets, and this one is just in acceptable shape. For me, I think it's in great shape. Dan, who deals in these, said it was in okay shape, but he told me a little bit about this. This is a very, very early, well over 100 years old, early tap and die set. Now, I mistakenly said it was a Greenfield, but it's actually a Whiley and Russell. And if you see here right there, I don't know if you can make that out. It says Whiley and Russell Manufacturing Company, Greenfield, Massachusetts. Now, Dan was giving me some of the history, amazing history of how the whole tap and die manufacturing started, and how competitive it was.
It's fantastic.
How many were churning out sets and things like that. Now, this particular set here,
beginning of the Industrial Revolution, you might say.
Some certain things, and I didn't touch it for the simple reason that I'm going to show you what a museum quality restoration looks like. That's what Dan does. Dan takes them and puts them out, and maintains all the value. Whereas me, I tend to, that's why I only work with kind of junky tools, because I'll take it to a wire brush or the belt set, which they would never do. Dan will take this and restore it the correct way. However,
so we'll be watching.
There was one piece that's missing from the set, which Dan pointed out. And if you look over here on the bottom left, there's an empty spot. And he says, what's missing there is it was a little rod that had a pin at the end, and it was more or less like a Tommy bar. And what it was meant for was you would take that rod, and you see this here, this little nut, this little bolt that has a kind of a cap head with a hole in it. Well, you would use that bar to tighten and loosen to get the dies in and out of the die holder. So it's missing that. Now, we can make that real quick. So I said, I'm going to send one over there so that, he can open and close this thing. And now to make one, now I could easily go to the lathe and turn down a piece of steel stock, and then turn down a smaller diameter at the end for the pin to fit through and act as a Tommy bar. However, there's a couple things that you have to think about. Number one, because you're putting pressure on this, this has to be tempered, so it don't bend, because that's going to be a small pin to fit through that small hole. So you have to temper this area like this and that, and you have to temper it at the right temper, that it's not too hard where it'll snap off. So there's where the dilemma begins. This is where it becomes more complicated. Or you could go the easier route. And for me, the easier route would to be take a piece of stock, drill a hole into this piece of stock, and put a hardened pin in. So now you don't have to worry about any hardening. You could get the pin at the correct hardness. I'm going to use music wire, which would be perfect. And we'll drill a hole, and we'll make this Tommy bar so that that Dan could finish this restoration. Now, this is music wire, sometimes called piano wire. It's extremely hard. It's a high carbon, really hard, but yet flexible wire that, in fact, when you cut this, you have to use pliers or cutters that are meant or certified for music wire. You'll see some of the old cutters used to say music wire cutters, because this is so hard. If you try and cut it on regular cutters, you could damage the cutters of your lineman pliers or whatnot. So music wire, I use a cutoff wheel to cut this, so you avoid any of that. But this is super strong, super tough. And how I was introduced to it, I used to make landing gear for my radio control airplanes. And, this would be, it act as like a spring, like a hard spring, which a lot of people use this to make springs. So this is the right size. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut off a piece, and then we're going to, now, because you're inserting this music wire into a body, we can make the body whatever we want to. We can make it out of brass, we can make it out of steel. It doesn't have to be super strong because all the pressure is going to be on this pin here. So you can have fun. You can make it decorative. So we'll see what we're going to feel like doing today. Now, if you were just making this on your own and you just needed they do sell what's called a thick wall. You see that? Thick wall brass tubing. They also make it another. See that? How that wall is thicker than most brass tubing? And you could easily just take this and place it into here and glue it in or epoxy that in, and you're finished, you know? But I happen to have this small pin here, and remember, it's got to fit in this slot here. This slot was meant for it. So I have a small pin that will fit in that slot, and so now we're just going to drill a hole in the end, and a press fit hole, which means a hole that when I push this in, it's going to be, I don't need any kind of glue or anything, it will press in, and we'll cut it to length, and see, maybe we'll do a little knurling. We'll see what we can do. Please enjoy some ASMR. And we're calling this project done. What do you think of this here? I think that looks pretty much what I've never seen one before.
So I had to go and find my boxes out the set.
Like. Again, we
Didn't
curved off the top and the back, a little bit of knurling, just a little bit to give it a little nice look to it. Now, this is how this obvious tool would work. You would place it into there, okay? And you could loosen or tighten, depending on where you put it in. You can see it works perfectly. I made sure to round off the tip so it's easy.
Did we look for a name on that little pin? I don't think there was a name on the pin, was there? I wonder if it's original or was it
right there.
remade?
Anyway, hope you enjoyed today's episode. We'll see you.
Yeah, we always enjoy all the episodes. This is an answer to go with John Scoutcrafter's film about Whiley and Russell. So let's Debbie do the reading first.
Okay. Whiley and Russell Manufacturing Co. was established in 1872 to manufacture thread cutting tools. The founders were Solon, Whiley and Charles P. Russell, nephew of the founder of the J. Russell Cutlery Company. They acquired the shops on Green River, vacated when Russell Cutlery moved to Turner's Falls. The company's product line expanded with tools and machinery for farriers, blacksmiths and wheelwrights. This included a line of post and freestanding drilling machines for manual and power operation. The drilling machines used the Green River trademark. In 1912, Whiley and Russell Manufacturing Company was acquired by Greenfield Tap and Die Corporation. The Whiley and Russell name, along with all tools and machinery not related to thread cutting, was discontinued after 1916.
So
please note. Oh, sorry.
Go on. So when it began in
1880. Where was it? 1872.
1872. Was taken over by Greenfield in
1912 and discontinued in 1916.
So the youngest stuff they've made is 1916.
No, 1872.
It began in, yeah.
To 1916.
Oh, right, okay. Ooh, so let's have a look. John was showing us a picture of the Whiley and Russell set. Let's have a look at my Whiley and Russell set. They are the beauties. There was some cuckoos in the nest. I've got rid of the cuckoos in the nest. Because you do with these sets, to get a complete set with everything is difficult. You know, you've really got to be collecting like for a long time to even bump across them. So we've got Whiley and Russell. Oh, look, Greenfield on it. This Whiley and Russell, yeah. And this one's Whiley and Russell. This one is Whiley and Russell. Whiley and Russell. You see how tiny the threads are. It's only a small set. Whiley and Russell. Whiley and Russell. Whiley and Russell. Whiley and Russell. Yeah. So that's those. Here's the attachment you put in, so that if you put a tap, you can put that in there and close that in. We've got one in there, look. Is that a Whiley and Russell? Yeah, that's a Whiley and Russell. So those are difficult enough to collect, but these are the ones that is so difficult to click onto. So we've got a Whiley and Russell Greenfield number 1 BASTD. Yeah. We've got this one, which is a Whiley and Russell. Can you see? Hold on. Whiley and Russell. What size is that? Number 0. And we've got one here. That one here, look. This one. Slightly different around the top. Some of them are long and some are around the top. So whether that is a clue to the year, what's younger and what's older. But there's Whiley and Russell number 2. And we've got a real fine one here. That one, what do we do with this one? I'm going to keep that one to last. This one here, this is again a Whiley and Russell. This is a number 4. And this one, wow. Unbelievably, look. This is again, look, it's a Whiley and Russell. But this is a number 9. How fine of a thread is that? And it's still in pretty good nick. Wow. And we've got the all-important little bar that goes with it. There's this little hole it lives in, look. We've got the all-important little bar that you were looking for. That's the little bar that fits in the handle. Let's pull the handle out. There we are. This is the little bar that fits in there. Yeah. It looks like it's one piece, doesn't it? Yeah. Looks like in one piece. The reason I say that, let's just, before we move on, have we got anything on the handle itself? Nothing on the handle. Anything on the handle itself? Ah, there could be something there. Hold on. Just, oh no, somebody's gripped it. Yeah, so there's no name on the, is that? No. There's no name on the handle itself. And we have got, I don't know if it is, would have they put their own name on it? Hold on, sort that over. We've got 2 a little, because these are called split dies, aren't they? Come out the little, hold on a minute, try and get it out the groove. Right, we've got him. And we've got this little screwdriver. And the little screwdriver is for the adjustment on the split die. These were called split dies. And that just adjusts them in and out, as well as put a bit more or a bit less. The deeper they go, the wider the opens by a small amount. Now this, it's got that number on it, and Simanco, so I don't know if that means anything or nothing, but I would guess it would have a Whiley and Russell on it. So, or did they just put these ones, buy them in and put them in the kit? But you see, this is an aluminium handle, aluminium handle with a steel stalk. So the screwdriver is steel. Very much like you were talking about, a steel shaft, but this one's got an aluminium little, and it's tiny little screwdriver. And that's this set of, and that's this, oops, come on out a bit. That's this set of, what's it? I'm guessing brass hinges is brass hinges. The box, again, is not the original hook, but sometimes the box, if you've got another Whiley and Russell box to compare, the boxes, you can see them because they're similar sometimes, and the way they're made, because obviously they're made in the same, but from that age, how on earth has this got from over there to over here? And if it could speak, what could it tell us? How many bombings, how many wars, how many owners, how many bereavements, how many hands has it gone through? How did it get from there to here? Wow, fascinating, absolutely fascinating. There's just a BA taps and die written on the top of it sometimes. People put their names on it or a company name or something. But anyway, wow. Isn't that amazing that we've got a set of Whiley and Russell? I think this is my only set. I think so. Yeah. But like you say, well over 100 years old. And you know, you open the box, it looks okay, but we've got a few cuckoos. We've got a, I tell you what was an interesting cuckoo. We did have an interesting cuckoo, which was, yeah, I'll put that up there, which was, that was British tap and die. Hold on. We have got a USA, Greenfield tap and die cuckoo in there. This other one that had found itself into the box was a, well, yeah, England in the bottom. We put that in it, and this was the other cuckoo. Yeah, so it's so difficult to get absolutely complete sets. That was just a drill that was in there. Yeah, but you just never know what you pick up. It's always sometimes pick up a whole pot of them, and the ones you're looking for might just be in there. You know what I mean? Might just be the one you're looking for that finishes the collection, and that's what's crazy about it. In trying to make these boxes and bringing them back, everything match and sizes. It takes you a lifetime. Is it an obsession? Is it a hobby? What is it? Dead men. This was a dead man. Is he talking to us? Put your hand on it. Just put your hand on the box and just sort of try and communicate with it. Anyway, John. Yeah, we've got a similar set, Whiley and Russell. Yeah, what a fantastic history on them.